Perfect competition exists in very few automotive segments in India, and the subcompact SUV space is one of them. Say hello to one of the most popular subcompact SUVs in India, the Hyundai Venue, and this is the second generation model. Hello and welcome to autoX. Today we will be talking about the new generation Hyundai Venue, and well, it warrants a question whether this is really a new generation or not because the engine options stay the same, but the car is completely different from the outside and the inside. We will be talking about that. Let's start with the front end design, which I quite like. Firstly, the front end becomes much more bolder, right? See, quad beam LED headlights, this bold bumper in your face, and the blacked out grille, the connected LED strip. All of this makes for a very nice visual up front. So the car becomes much more butch and aggressive in terms of road presence, right? If you move to the side, well, you have these new diamond cut alloy wheels, brand new design. The plastic cladding on the wheel arches, it's new as well. And if you move to the side, you can see all these cuts and creases. This is the top spec DCT model with a 7-speed DCT, right? So you see these lines, see these creases. It makes for a nice visual, right? The top spec model also gets roof rails, so quite a nice bold appeal. And if you move to the D pillar, so this is where the highlight is. I feel it's a nice signature design highlight. So the quarter glass and the D pillar, they have this nice design going on. I quite like. You have the name of the car there. And if you come to the rear, well, this is a nice design element as well. If you look at the badging right here, it's enclosed, so you don't have to worry about cleaning it or this getting dirty. What happens is all these letters, they stand out and dirt gets onto them, so it's difficult to clean, right? So the Venue with the nameplate stays absolutely fine. So from the rear as well, thick chunky bumper, and you have these collected LED tail lights, makes for a nice visual. I quite like the way the new generation Venue looks, and also it has grown taller, wider, and the wheelbase grows by 20 mm, so there's more space inside. We will talk about it and we will be driving the car very soon. Now let's get to the interior of the new generation Venue. So these new 12.3-inch dual screens make for a nice visual inside the cabin. So it looks very neat, very premium. The layout of the dashboard is completely new. What I particularly like is the fact that there are more buttons inside, so it has a nice tactile feel to it, and also the key has a very premium feel to it. So this is the key of the new generation Venue. It feels nice and premium, right? So we'll keep it here. You have a phone charger, wireless phone charger here. This is the automatic, like I said. You have the drive and traction mode controller here, right? And you have an automatic parking brake, ventilated front seats. So you have a 3-step ventilation process for the front seats. That's nice. And also the steering wheel itself feels nice and chunky to hold. Now, if the camera can pan here, you'll realize that the steering wheel has these 4 dots, which means H in Morse code. But the question remains that this is the first ICE model from Hyundai to get this symbol and not the traditional Hyundai H. It's usually reserved for Hyundai's electric only models. Well, it's a nice touch, right? And the touch and feel of the cabin inside, particularly these, it is hard plastics, but it feels premium, and the texture, I quite like it. And of course, this has a sunroof as well, right? So overall, the feel of the new generation Venue from inside is quite nice, and we'll talk about it in detail when we drive the car, which is very soon. In terms of features, this has an 8-speaker Bose audio system, wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Apart from that, this also has level 2 ADAS functions and over 60 connected vehicle technology as well. So if we were to talk about the level 2 ADAS systems, you have adaptive cruise control, lane keep assist, forward collision assist, and so on and so forth. Also, this gets over-the-air updates, and the infotainment system is called the CCNC cockpit, and it has been designed and it's powered by Nvidia. Yes, so there's a lot of tech inside. Hyundai also calls this as its first SDV or software defined vehicle, right? So let's move to the rear seats, right? Right, so we are at the rear seat of the new generation Venue, and of course you get an armrest which can be locked in. The seat itself is nice and plush. The texture is quite nice, and the wheelbase, like I said, grows by 20 mm. So you have more space, although the seats in front are adjusted to somebody who is taller and will have a longer driving position, which is why you can see that I have very little knee room at the moment. But full review when we drive the car. And the backrest, so you can move the backrest up front and you can recline. So this is the maximum recline that the backrest will have. And yes, the cabin from the rear feels nice and plush. The room, well, we'll talk about it when we drive the car at length. So let's get out and talk about the pricing. So the introductory prices for the Hyundai Venue start at 7.9 lakh rupees ex showroom, and these prices will be offered for all customers till 31st of December 2025, right? And like I said, the engine options are carried over from before. So we have a 1.2 petrol, a 1 liter turbo petrol, and a 1.5 diesel. The diesel gets a new 6-speed automatic gearbox, which is a new addition. Excuse me.